guys, welcome to Sketched, and today's video is all about two-point perspective. Now in the previous lessons we have studied one-point perspective, how to sketch in one-point perspective, and also varied angles of creating objects in one-point perspective. Now before we get into spheres and ellipses, which are obviously more essential when it comes to sketching out objects, products or whatever, I thought let me introduce the concept of two-point perspective first, and then we will tackle spheres and ellipses a little better when we know the fundamentals of two-point perspective as well as one-point perspective as discussed earlier. Before starting this lesson, I request you all to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps our content reach a bigger audience that way. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's begin two-point perspective. Now the basic question that anyone will ask when it comes to perspective, or one-point perspective or two-point perspective, is what is the difference? That's the first question that that comes to mind, right? What is the difference? Why am I learning two-point perspective? I already know one-point perspective. Well, the difference is very, very, very easy. So we have one-point perspective where we have the horizon line, the vanishing point, that's it, right? So every line, either from top or bottom, will always converge at this vanishing point. Now come to two-point perspective. We have the same horizon line, but here instead of one vanishing point, we have two vanishing points. That's why two-point perspective. So if you're standing here as a person, right, you're going to have this and this point of view. So when you construct an object in two-point perspective, sorry about that, it's not very accurate, but yeah, when you see an object in two-point perspective, you can see not one side but rather two sides of the object at the same time. This gives you a better outlook of what the product or what the object is all about, and helps you construct different views of the object a little easier and in a little more detail. So with the difference out of the way, let us begin the lesson. Today we are going to just see the absolute basics. So we all know the first basic, that is this line here. This is nothing but the horizon line. Now once again, I'm going to take a short break here and let you guys know that if you do not have a graphics tablet, it's okay. These lessons are perfectly doable with a simple paper, pencil and a ruler. You do not need advanced hardware or any sort of a software to get these done. Okay, I am only using the iPad here because it is easier for me to explain, and it gives me a chance to basically speak out my ideas while teaching at the same time. So that's the only reason I'm using the iPad. But otherwise, this lesson is doable on paper, pencil and rulers as well. Coming back to the lesson, as we saw, this is the horizon line. Now, as I explained just a couple of seconds back, two-point perspective has two vanishing points. So it is totally up to you where you construct a vanishing point. So for this lesson, I am going to take one vanishing point here and one vanishing point here. So if you want, you can even name them for the starting. So we have vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2. Okay, now let's make something out of this, right? Right. Let me start with VP2. Now, what lines converge to VP2? It's a very easy trend that you can observe. So anything from the left converges to the right. So if I have a line that comes like this, from the left, it's going to meet at VP2. Okay, it's a rule, it's going to happen. That's it. That's the way perspectives work. If there's 2 points, if there's a vanishing point, the lines, the construction lines have to meet or the object actually has to meet at that vanishing point, has to appear to converge at the vanishing point. So here, whatever is on your left will meet at the right vanishing point, and similarly, I think you've got the trend now. Good. So whatever goes from your right meets to your left, whatever goes to from your left meets at your right. Okay, now let's make a box then. Why not, right? Now here, if you see, we already have a base ready here, a semi base, you can say. So we have the beginnings of a box. So we have one corner over here. This forms one side, this forms the other side. So one edge is here, one edge is here, but it's not quite a box yet. Let's make a box. So I will take another line here, meet at VP2. Okay, now instantly you can see you have the second corner ready over here. Let's draw another line. And there you go. This is your 2D figure. Your 2D figure is now ready. Okay, if you still want some clarity, let me just use a different color. This is what I'm talking about. Right, so this is your 2D version of the box, right, constructed in 2-point perspective. Now what if I want a 3D figure in 2-point perspective? So it's the same idea that you have to use. Let's start with the horizon line first. Okay, make it as straight as possible. Let me make my vanishing points VP1, VP2. Now let me draw the reference lines. Yeah, we'll take it at a good angle this time. Great. Now here the approach is a little bit different, because in a 3D figure, remember, whenever you have say a 3D cube or a 3D cuboid, you have the length, you have the width, and you have the height. So length and width we have set up. Okay, now we need to set up the height. So for the height, we take the only existing corner that we have right now, and you set up the height, establish the height as per your convenience. But the only rule is this edge, this vertical edge that you have made, right, it has to be straight at 90 degrees. That's it. That's the only rule. It has to be perfectly vertical. Okay, now if you draw a slant line, now I've got this question a lot of times, right, that what if my line is a little crooked? No matter, if your line is crooked, you will get the figure, but as I like to say, it won't be the figure that you expect. That's all. So even if you do make an angle off here and there, it's fine, you will still get the shape. Okay, now that we have the height set up, you'll see that this has already created one more corner on top. What you got to do now is, from this corner, make lines that converge at both the vanishing points. So I have one line over here and another line over here. Okay, easy, good. Now with this, we have the length, width, and height ready. Now let's just establish the box. So I will decide, how long and how wide my box is going to be. So I want a longer box here. Okay, and I don't want it as long on this side, so I'm going to make it over here. Okay, so we have 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corners, 4 corners, 5 and 6. Now whenever there is a corner, what do you have to do? You have to make it converge to the vanishing point. Now here, if you see, this is already converging to this one, to the vanishing point 1. make it converge to vanishing point 2. So anything from the left goes to the right. So I will make it converge to vanishing point 2. Similarly, this corner that we have, that is already converging at VP2, but it's on your right. So anything from the right goes to your left. Sorry about that. And there you have it. That's your box. Let me just highlight what we have made. We have successfully constructed our first 3D figure in 2-point perspective. So there are certain rules or certain trends. I would not call them rules because when it comes to design, there are no particular hard and fast rules that you have to follow. Now what I like to do is I like to remember it this way. Whenever you have a corner, right, whenever you have an intersection point, let me just change the color. I think this should be okay. Yeah, so whenever you have intersection points established, right, they will have lines that converge to both vanishing points in 2-point perspective. So whenever you see if you look at this corner A, right, A meets VP2 as well and VP1 as well. Coming to B, right, now the reason you cannot see B converging at VP2 is because that side of the cube will not be visible if you are standing over here, unless of course the cube or that 3D shape is transparent, right? So that's why. But as you can see here also it meets VP1 and VP2. Coming to C, this one, right, it meets VP2 and VP1. So you can see the trend. Even let me take one more example of D, right, here this meets VP2. Again, since you cannot see the other side, but this is basically how it goes. So every corner is going to meet both the vanishing points, and that is going to help you form the shape that you have in mind. So this is basically how you create the 2D shape, a 3D shape, and the fundamentals of 2-point perspective. So as far as again the fundamentals go, you just have to remember, let me see, two things. One is that there are 2 vanishing points. Second, whatever is on your right hand side will converge to your left. So whatever is on your right goes to the left, whatever is on your left will converge at the right. If you remember these 2 concepts, you can create absolutely anything in 2-point perspective. And with that, I would like to conclude this lesson. Once again, thank you guys for your support. The lessons that we're making are getting good feedback overall, and I would like to see a lot more coming. But anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel once again, and help the content reach a bigger audience. So until the next lesson, this is Sketched signing off.